The desert planet of Vortex stretched endlessly under two suns. Its sand dunes shimmered in harsh light, hiding rocks and canyons where shadows could cling. Across this barren wasteland moved an alien convoy. Sleek black vehicles slid across the sand, carrying precious energy cores. The aliens were confident. They had conquered planets before. Earth, they thought, was far away, weak and irrelevant. Inside the command ship, Commander Therok watched the convoy's progress through a series of holographic displays. He rubbed his long, ridged chin and chuckled. "The humans will not interfere here," he said to his officers. His voice was calm, filled with arrogance. "They do not dare step so far into the stars." But far from the convoy, hidden in a narrow canyon, a small human squad waited. Captain Elias Reyes crouched behind a rocky outcrop, his eyes scanning the horizon. He was not a large man, but his presence felt commanding. Around him his team moved quietly, checking their weapons and reloading carefully. There were only 8 of them, 8 humans against hundreds of alien soldiers. But numbers did not matter. Humans had something the aliens did not understand: cunning, courage, and the will to fight against impossible odds. Reyes whispered to his team, "Remember, they are fast, but we are smarter. Every move counts. One mistake from them, one perfect strike from us, and this day will belong to Earth." The soldiers nodded. They trusted their captain, and they trusted themselves. They were not here for glory or conquest. They were here to protect, to show the galaxy that humanity could not be bullied. The canyon was quiet. The wind carried fine dust, coating their faces, burning their eyes. They stayed hidden, breathing shallowly, feeling their hearts pound in anticipation. Every soldier knew the story of human battles. The odds were never in their favor, yet humans always found a way. Some aliens called it reckless, others called it madness, but humans called it determination. As the convoy moved closer, Reyes watched the first vehicle. Its engines glowed a bright greenish hue. Alien guards scanned the dunes and cliffs, thinking they were safe. They were wrong. The humans had studied their movements, memorized every pattern, every predictable action. They had prepared for this moment for months. Reyes turned to his second-in-command, Lieutenant Mara Lin. "On my mark," he whispered. "We hit them fast, hard, and precise. No hesitation. No mercy if they threaten innocent lives." Mara's eyes were steady. "Understood, Captain. They won't see us coming." The humans waited. The tension was almost unbearable. Dust swirled around them. The twin suns burned the horizon, and for a moment the world seemed suspended in time. The aliens laughed in their confidence, unaware that the end of their arrogance was near. Reyes thought about Earth. He thought of cities under peaceful skies, of children laughing in parks, of families sharing meals. He thought of what humans were protecting, not just themselves, but hope, life, and freedom. This mission was more than a battle. It was a statement. Every human soldier carried that weight silently, without complaint. Minutes passed like hours. The convoy crested a small hill, engines humming, weapons ready. Reyes felt the adrenaline surge. This was the moment. This was the chance to prove something the galaxy would never forget. He clenched his fists. "For Earth," he whispered. The words were soft but carried immense weight. Around him, his team felt the same determination. Their fear was not weakness, it was the spark that would ignite the storm. Below them, the alien convoy moved obliviously. They believed themselves superior. They believed Earth was irrelevant. But the humans had a secret the aliens could not see: the strength of heart, the refusal to surrender, and a fire that burned brighter than any weapon. Reyes looked at his soldiers one last time. Each face was a mixture of tension and resolve. "We fight together," he said quietly, "or we die together. But make no mistake, the galaxy will remember today. They will remember who humans are." Then the human squad waited for the perfect moment. The silence of the canyon was their ally. The sun blazed overhead, and in the shadow of Vortex's jagged cliffs, humanity prepared to strike. A strike that would change the course of history. The calm before the storm had ended. The moment had come. Captain Reyes raised his hand slightly, signaling his team. Time seemed to slow as the humans waited. Hearts pounding, muscles coiled like springs. Below, the alien convoy moved steadily, unaware that death and chaos were waiting for them. They believed they were masters of the desert, but the humans had studied their every move. Every pattern, every route, every blind spot was known now, Reyes whispered. Explosions erupted across the desert. Mines buried beneath the sand ignited with precision, sending shockwaves that threw the first vehicles off course. Screeching alarms echoed from the convoy as alien soldiers scrambled in confusion. Plasma weapons fired blindly, scorching the dunes. But humans were already moving, shadowing the rocks, striking from angles the aliens could not anticipate. Lieutenant Mara Lin led a squad that fired with deadly accuracy. A well-placed shot disabled the lead vehicle, blocking the convoy's path. The humans' tactics were not random. They were a carefully choreographed dance of destruction. Every strike was calculated, every maneuver deliberate. The aliens had technology, but humans had strategy and courage that refused to yield. A young human soldier, Private Kane, darted across the sand, dodging a plasma blast that would have vaporized him. He vaulted onto the wreckage of a fallen vehicle, firing at a turret that had threatened to cut down his squad. Each shot was precise, each action fueled by a mixture of fear and determination. Kane felt the heat of the suns, the roar of engines, the smell of scorched metal, and yet he pressed on. This was what it meant to fight for Earth. Commander Tharok roared in frustration. "What are these humans?" he shouted to his officers. "They should be easy prey. Why can't we crush them?" The alien soldiers looked to each other, eyes wide with panic. Their training had never prepared them for this. They had faced dozens of enemies across the galaxy, but humans were different. There was a fire in their eyes, a sharpness in their minds, and a bravery that did not waver even in the face of overwhelming odds. From the cliffs above, Reyes observed the chaos, directing his team with calm precision. "Kane, disable the rear vehicle. Mara, cover the left flank. I'll take the center." His voice was steady. Even as the desert erupted around them, the humans moved like shadows, striking and disappearing before the aliens could react. The aliens tried to regroup, but the humans were relentless. Vehicles that had thought themselves invincible were overturned, caught in traps set long before the convoy entered the canyon. Energy cores, valuable and dangerous, were scattered as the humans struck with cunning efficiency. Panic rippled through the alien ranks. They had not expected mercy, but they also had not expected this level of skill. Despite the danger, Reyes never hesitated. His mind was focused, heart steady. He remembered Earth. Not the battlefields, not the politics, not the strategy boards, but the people. Families, children, friends, dreams waiting to be lived. He fought for them, and in that fight he drew strength. Every human soldier there fought for the same reason, each carrying hope like a shield. One alien officer, realizing their convoy was falling apart, attempted to call for reinforcements. But humans had anticipated this. Communications were jammed by small portable devices hidden among the rocks. The officer's voice crackled and broke as his message was cut off. Fear spread among the aliens like wildfire. Their confidence was gone, replaced by uncertainty and terror. The canyon was alive with the roar of engines, the flash of energy weapons, and the cries of the defeated. And yet in the middle of it all, humans moved with precision. They were not chaotic, they were not reckless, they were predators, striking with intelligence, courage, and a silent promise. Do not underestimate Earth. Reyes moved swiftly to the center of the battlefield, spotting an alien squad trying to regroup near the largest vehicle. He sprinted across open sand, bullets whizzing past him, dodging with agility that seemed impossible. He reached the vehicle, tossing a small explosive that shattered it in a brilliant flash. The aliens screamed, some fleeing, others immobilized as humans pressed the advantage. For the first time, Commander Tharok felt fear. His plans, his confidence, his pride all crumbling before the humans' fury. "They are stronger than we imagined," he whispered, eyes wide in disbelief. As the sun began to dip toward the horizon, the humans paused for a moment, surveying their work. The convoy was in ruins, alien soldiers scattered and broken, and the desert was filled with smoke and fire. Reyes took a deep breath, feeling the weight of what they had accomplished. They had not just ambushed a convoy, they had sent a message that would echo across the stars. And the message was simple: Earth does not submit. Earth does not retreat, and every alien who survived this day would remember it forever. The desert of Vortex was quiet now, but not peaceful. Smoke rose in black spirals from the wrecked alien convoy. The once confident soldiers were scattered, their vehicles destroyed, their morale shattered. Commander Tharok stood atop a dune, his tall frame trembling, his mind racing. He had never imagined that humans could fight like this, not with overwhelming numbers, not with alien technology, but with sheer heart, cunning, and courage. "I thought we were masters of war," Tharok muttered, his voice almost a whisper. His eyes scanned the battlefield, witnessing the destruction humans had left behind. But these humans, they are unlike anything we have faced. Fear spread like a disease through the remaining alien forces. Soldiers who had trained their whole lives for combat now hesitated, unsure of their next move. Their confidence, once unshakable, was gone. Every command they gave went ignored. Panic replaced strategy, and in that panic, humans found their strength. Captain Elias Reyes crouched behind a rock, observing the battlefield. His team moved silently, striking at weak points, disabling energy turrets, and cutting off escape routes. The humans were calm, efficient, and ruthless when needed, but there was no hatred in their actions. They fought for protection, for justice, for Earth. That distinction made them terrifying. Aliens expected savagery. They found discipline, courage, and determination instead. "Fire at the left flank," Reyes commanded, and his soldiers obeyed instantly. Plasma bolts streaked across the desert sky, knocking alien vehicles sideways. The aliens screamed in panic, their communication systems failing under human interference. Every attempt to regroup was met with precision strikes. A young alien soldier named Rek tried to rally his comrades. "We can still win," he shouted, but his voice lacked conviction. His companions avoided his gaze, fear and disbelief written plainly on their faces. Even the seasoned veterans trembled as they watched humans move through the battlefield like shadows. Always present, always lethal, never predictable. From the cliffs above, Mara Lynn guided a squad to intercept a group attempting to flee. She fired with careful accuracy, hitting engines and disabling weapons. The aliens, despite their superior technology, were no match for the human strategy. Every movement was anticipated, every weakness exploited. They realized too late that humans were not reckless. They were intelligent predators who could strike anywhere, anytime. Reyes paused for a moment, scanning the horizon. His eyes fell on a small alien group trapped between two destroyed vehicles. They froze, realizing there was no escape. He felt no satisfaction in their fear, only resolve. "They will tell their leaders," he said quietly, "that humans fight with more than weapons. They fight with heart." The captured aliens' eyes widened as humans advanced slowly, carefully. Some expected execution, some hoped for mercy. What they got was neither cruelty nor leniency. They got a lesson. Reyes motioned to his squad to let them go. "Go," he said. "Tell your leaders. Tell them what Earth means." Fear turned into whispered rumors among alien ranks. Survivors carried stories of humans who fought like gods of war, who moved faster than bullets, who thought faster than the most advanced AI. Across comms, soldiers reported one another's panic. The name Earth began to resonate with a mixture of awe and terror. Even those who had never faced humans before felt the weight of it. Meanwhile, the human team consolidated their position. They had sustained minor injuries, but morale remained high. Reyes looked at his soldiers with pride. "We are not just fighting for victory," he said. "We are showing the galaxy what humans can do." They will remember today. Above, the alien command ship tried to organize a counterattack. Energy weapons flared, but every strike was intercepted or evaded. Humans were everywhere and nowhere, unpredictable and unstoppable. The aliens could not comprehend it. Machines, tactics, and raw force could not match human resolve. By nightfall, the remaining aliens fled in terror, leaving their fallen comrades and their convoy behind. The battlefield was quiet, save for the crackling fires of destroyed vehicles and the distant howling of desert winds. Human soldiers stood victorious, exhausted but alive, their hearts still racing. They had not just survived, they had sent a warning that would echo across the galaxy. Reyes watched the stars begin to appear, their light reflected in the blackened sand. He felt a surge of emotion, pride, relief, and a solemn understanding of what they had done. Humanity had not merely defeated an enemy. They had become a force that no alien could ignore. In the hearts of those who survived, the story of the battle spread like fire. Earth, humans, they whispered, trembling. And from that day on, the name of a small, fragile planet carried a weight that no alien could ever forget. The galaxy had learned something important. Humans were not weak, and Earth was not insignificant. And for Captain Elias Reyes and his team, this was only the beginning. The battlefield of Vortex was silent now, but the silence was heavy with the scent of burnt metal and scorched sand. Smoke curled from destroyed vehicles, and the desert wind carried away echoes of the battle. The humans moved carefully among the wreckage, checking their wounded, making sure no one was left behind. Victory had a cost even when the enemy was broken. Captain Elias Reyes paused near a shattered alien hovercraft. Something moved beneath the twisted metal. A young alien pilot was trapped, struggling, his armor cracked and sparking. The pilot looked up at Reyes, expecting death, expecting hatred. His green eyes widened in fear. "Please, don't kill me," he whispered in his broken language. Reyes studied him for a moment, the chaos of the past hours heavy in his mind. He could see the fear, the desperation, the same fear that many humans had felt in worse battles, and yet he also saw the choice he had to make. Mercy was not weakness. Humanity was not just strength in weapons, it was strength in heart. "Go," Reyes said finally, his voice steady. He bent down and lifted the heavy metal with his hands, effortlessly freeing the alien. "Live, and tell your leaders that Earth does not forgive, but it does not kill without reason." The young pilot stumbled backward, trembling, staring at the humans who had defeated his convoy. He had expected anger, rage, and bloodlust. Instead, he found calm, discipline, and a strange kind of respect. He nodded weakly, words failing him, before retreating toward the horizon. Reyes watched him go and turned to his soldiers. "Remember," he said quietly, "we fight for humanity, for life, for hope. We do not fight to destroy without reason, but if anyone threatens Earth, they will know what we mean." Marlin approached, her face smudged with dust and sweat, her uniform torn. "Captain, do you think they'll tell the others?" she asked. Reyes nodded. "They will. Every alien who survives today will carry the story. They will remember humans not as reckless fools, but as something more, something they fear." The squad moved across the desert, securing what remained of the convoy. The alien soldiers who survived were scattered, injured, and frightened. Humans gave them a chance to retreat. Some accepted it, running toward their distant ships. Others hesitated, unsure if mercy was a trap. The humans let them leave anyway. It was a message stronger than weapons. Earth fought with reason, morality, and courage. Private Kane, exhausted and covered in dust, glanced at the horizon. "They'll spread stories," he said softly. "About humans, about Earth." Reyes put a hand on his shoulder. "Let them. Let every star system hear it. But never forget, we do this not for fear, but for protection. That is what makes us human." The team gathered briefly on a small dune. The sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the desert in orange and purple. They were tired, battered, and hungry, but their spirits were high. They had faced overwhelming odds, and they had won. Not just with firepower, but with intelligence, planning, and heart. Reyes looked at each soldier in his team. We are not the strongest in numbers, not the fastest, not the most advanced. But we are the human heart. And the heart of humanity is unstoppable. Marlin smiled faintly, wiping blood and dust from her face. I think they already know it, Captain. Even the ones who ran, they'll never forget us. Reyes nodded silently. He thought of Earth. The cities, the oceans, the mountains, the people who had no idea of the battle raging light years away. They were fighting for them. For everyone on Earth, human soldiers carried courage across the stars, and that courage was contagious. It turned fear into respect, enemies into witnesses, and defeat into legend. The alien convoy was gone, scattered across the desert or fleeing toward their distant command ship. But the humans did not cheer or boast. They walked among the wreckage with quiet pride. Their victory was not about conquest. It was about proving something bigger. Humanity was not weak. Earth was not small. And no matter how far anyone tried to push them, humans would rise, united and unyielding. Reyes finally took a deep breath, the cool evening air filling his lungs. We fight to protect, he said softly, not to conquer. But if anyone threatens us, they will know what Earth means, and they will fear it. As darkness fell over the desert, stars emerged like scattered diamonds above. In the distance, alien survivors fled, spreading the story of what they had seen. Humans had won the battle, yes, but more than that, they had won respect, fear, and the beginning of a legend. And in that quiet moment, as the humans gathered their strength and looked toward the stars, it was clear. The name of Earth would never again be underestimated. The alien convoy had been shattered, but one final threat remained. Above the desert sky of Vortex, the alien flagship hovered like a dark shadow, massive and menacing. Its engines glowed ominously and energy weapons lined its hull, ready to fire. Commander Tharok's last hope was that ship. Its firepower could obliterate anything below. Captain Elias Reyes stood with his team on a dune, watching the enormous silhouette against the fading sun. The humans had won much already, but this final enemy could undo all their work. He knew the aliens would pour every weapon into one decisive strike. Failure was not an option. Stay focused, Reyes whispered, scanning the horizon. They have one chance left. Don't let it happen. Lieutenant Mara Lin signaled the team into position. Each human soldier had been briefed on the strategy. Precision strikes, careful coordination, and trust in one another. They were few, but every move was calculated. Their hearts were steady, their courage unwavering. Below, the desert hummed with anticipation. Alien forces, desperate and enraged, tried to coordinate the flagship's attack. Energy beams fired down, scorching the dunes, but the humans were ready. They moved swiftly between cover, evading with skill honed by years of training and instinct. Bullets and plasma flew past them, but humans were never reckless. Every step, every shot was deliberate. Reyes aimed his targeting system at the flagship, analyzing weak points. Kane, Mara, now! Strike the engines while I take out their weapons array. His voice was calm but commanding. Every soldier understood the gravity of this moment. One wrong move could mean death, or worse, the destruction of Earth's name before it had a chance to spread. The missiles streaked across the sky, guided with uncanny precision. Explosions erupted near the flagship's engines, sending sparks and fire into the atmosphere. The massive ship rocked violently, alarms screaming through the alien comms. Tharok roared in frustration from inside the vessel. They cannot do this. They are only humans, but humans could do what aliens could not predict. They were clever, relentless, and fearless. Another volley of missiles hit the weapons array, causing massive secondary explosions. The flagship shuddered, cracks appearing along its hull. Alien soldiers screamed in panic, abandoning their posts as the ship spiraled out of control. From the cliffs, Mara Lin fired a concentrated plasma burst at the flagship's core reactor. The massive explosion lit the desert sky, sending shockwaves through the dunes. The humans were thrown to the ground, ears ringing, dust filling their lungs, but their hearts remained unbroken. Commander Tharok, realizing the flagship was doomed, attempted to escape in a small shuttle. But the humans had anticipated even this. A well-aimed missile from Kane struck the shuttle, sending it plummeting into the desert. Tharok's roar of fury was cut short, echoing across the empty dunes. The flagship exploded in a blinding flash, scattering fire and debris across the desert. The sound rolled like thunder, a symbol of the humans' resolve and skill. Alien morale shattered completely. There were no more formations, no more plans, only chaos and retreat. Reyes stood among his soldiers, watching the remains of the alien fleet scatter across the sky. They were exhausted, bruised and battered, but victorious. They had faced impossible odds and emerged triumphant. Their victory was not born from numbers, technology, or brute force alone. It was born from courage, intelligence, and an unwavering belief in humanity. Private Kane collapsed to the sand, laughing and crying at the same time. "We did it. We actually did it," he shouted, voice cracking with relief. Mara Lynn wiped sweat and dust from her face, smiling faintly. "The galaxy will never forget this," she said softly. "They'll tell stories, and every alien who hears it will fear Earth." Reyes took a deep breath, surveying the battlefield. The desert was quiet now, save for the crackling of fires and distant groans of fleeing aliens. Victory was theirs, but it was more than a military win. It was a statement, a warning, a legend in the making. Humans were not to be underestimated. Earth was not weak. He placed a hand on Mara's shoulder. "Remember this moment," he said quietly. "Today we showed the galaxy who we are, and from now on, every alien will remember the name Earth." As darkness fell over Vortex, stars began to emerge in the sky. The humans looked up at the vast expanse above, realizing the enormity of what they had accomplished. Not only had they destroyed the convoy and the flagship, but they had rewritten the perception of humanity in the minds of aliens across the galaxy. The desert wind swept across the dunes, carrying with it the story of courage, skill, and heart. It would travel faster than light, whispered from one alien system to another, growing into legend. Earth had shown its strength not just in battle but in spirit. And every corner of the galaxy would now know that to face humanity was to face an unyielding force that would fight, protect, and endure, no matter the odds. The desert of Vortex was quiet now, but it was a quiet that spoke louder than any battle cry. Smoke and fire still rose from the wreckage of the alien convoy and the shattered flagship. The air was thick with dust, burnt metal, and the acrid smell of energy weapons. Yet amidst the ruin, Captain Elias Reyes and his team stood tall, breathing heavily but alive. Their hearts still raced, but it was no longer fear. It was the steady pulse of triumph and resolve. Reyes looked over the battlefield. Every alien vehicle was either destroyed or fleeing. Broken soldiers stumbled across the sand, their weapons useless, their formation shattered. For the first time, many of them truly understood the meaning of fear. Not the fear of death, which they had known, but the fear of humans. Clever, relentless, and unyielding. The name Earth would echo in their minds for the rest of their lives. Lieutenant Mara Lynn walked beside him, scanning for survivors. "Captain," she said softly, her voice carrying a mixture of pride and exhaustion. "They're running. Every last one of them. Even those who weren't here at the convoy are retreating back to their systems." Reyes nodded. "Good, let them carry the message. Not just of our strength, but of our spirit, of what humans fight for." The surviving aliens moved like shadows across the desert, stumbling over dunes, panic etched on every face. Their leaders, like Commander Tharok, were in retreat, terrified of what they had witnessed. They had believed humans were weak, fragile, and easy to conquer. They had been wrong, so catastrophically wrong that their defeat would be remembered for generations. Reyes knelt beside one of the alien vehicles. It was still smoking, its energy core cracked. He touched the sand lightly, as if grounding himself in the reality of what had happened. His mind was calm, but his heart was full. They had done more than win a battle. They had changed the perception of humanity across the stars. Private Kane approached, looking around with wide eyes. "Captain, they'll never come back here. Not after this." He was smiling, though dirt and sweat streaked his face. "They'll tell everyone, won't they?" Reyes placed a hand on Kane's shoulder. "Yes, and they'll tell the truth. They'll tell of humans who fight not just with weapons but with intelligence, courage, and heart. They'll tell that Earth protects what it values, and that those who threaten it will pay a price." The team began moving among the wreckage, securing what they could and marking the battlefield. They checked on the injured, patched wounds, and collected their own scattered equipment. There were no celebrations, no cheering. Victory was heavy, measured, and meaningful. Every soldier understood that this moment would define humanity in the eyes of the galaxy. From the cliffs, Reyes looked up at the stars beginning to appear above the desert. Light years away, aliens would be whispering the name Earth with fear and awe. He could almost see the story spreading. Tales of humans who could outthink, outmaneuver, and outfight even the most advanced alien forces. He could see their legends growing, fueled not by propaganda but by undeniable truth. Mara Lynn came to his side. "Do you ever think they'll really stop coming, or will we always have to fight?" Reyes sighed, looking toward the horizon. "Maybe, maybe not, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that they'll never underestimate us again. They'll never think Earth is weak, and that is worth everything we've done." The desert wind swept across the battlefield, carrying the scent of victory and the sound of distant alien retreat. Reyes felt a profound sense of pride. Humans had stood against impossible odds, and they had prevailed. Not through sheer numbers, not through alien technology, but through strategy, courage, and an unbreakable spirit. He turned to his team. "We go home," he said. "We leave them with this story. Let them remember the humans of Earth. Let them fear it, respect it, and understand that some things cannot be defeated." One by one, the soldiers nodded, their faces a mixture of exhaustion and triumph. They had witnessed history. They had been the first humans to fight an alien convoy in distant space, and they had won decisively. And as they prepared to leave the desert of Vortex, one thought filled every heart. The galaxy would never forget the name of their planet. Reyes took a final glance at the battlefield. The fire and smoke, the broken vehicles, and the retreating aliens were all reminders of what had been accomplished. This was more than a victory, it was a declaration. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and the name of Earth would echo in fear and respect forever. As night fell over the dunes, the stars twinkled above like silent witnesses. The humans had fought. They had survived. And they had proven that Earth was not a world to be underestimated. The galaxy had changed. Across countless star systems, alien commanders whispered in fear, their voices trembling as they repeated the same name. Earth. What had once been dismissed as a distant, fragile planet was now a symbol of power, courage, and unyielding resolve. Tales of the ambush on Vortex spread faster than light, carried by survivors, scouts, and gossip among fleets. Captain Elias Reyes and his team had returned to their shuttle, leaving the desert of Vortex behind. The twin suns had set, leaving the battlefield bathed in the soft glow of distant stars. The humans were exhausted, their bodies sore, their clothes torn and dusty, but their spirits were unbroken. They had faced overwhelming odds, defied impossible expectations, and emerged victorious. Reyes looked around at his soldiers, pride swelling in his chest. "We fought for more than victory," he said quietly. "We fought for humanity, for every person on Earth who believes in hope, in courage, in the strength to stand when everything seems lost. This is the message the galaxy will carry now." Lieutenant Mara Lynn nodded, brushing sand from her uniform. "They'll never forget us," she said softly. "Every alien who survives will spread the story. They'll fear us, yes, but they'll also respect what humans fight for." Even as the humans spoke, the first messages arrived. Alien scouts retreating from the battlefield sent reports of the ambush, the destruction of the flagship, and the intelligence of the human soldiers. Across systems, leaders canceled invasions, postponed conquests, and whispered warnings. Earth, do not provoke them, they said, recalling the fire and precision of the human strike. For the first time, humanity was not just another species in the galaxy. They were a force to be reckoned with. Every alien who had witnessed, survived, or heard the story would carry it forward. Earth had become a legend, not because it desired conquest, but because it embodied courage, intelligence, and heart. Reyes closed his eyes for a moment, remembering the desert, the smoke, the chaos, and the fear in the eyes of the aliens. And yet he also remembered something more important, the mercy they had shown. The alien pilot they had freed, the soldiers they had allowed to retreat, the discipline in their victory, all of it spoke louder than destruction. Humans were not conquerors. They were protectors, and that made them terrifying in a way no weapon ever could. Private Kane, sitting nearby and cleaning his rifle, looked up at Reyes. "Captain, do you think they'll ever come back?" he asked, his voice uncertain but hopeful. Reyes smiled faintly, a mixture of weariness and pride. "Maybe," he said, "but they'll never underestimate us again, and that's what matters. Every star system will remember today, and every alien who hears our name will know. Earth fights differently. Earth does not give up. Earth does not forgive threats lightly." The shuttle began its journey home, gliding through the vast emptiness of space. Below, Vortex receded into darkness, its deserts quiet once more. The humans were small in the vast galaxy, but their actions had made them giants. One small planet, seemingly fragile and distant, had proven that courage and intelligence could bend the stars themselves. Reyes looked at the stars, thinking of Earth. The cities, the oceans, the mountains, the children playing in parks, all were worth every risk, every battle, every drop of sweat and blood. Humanity's story had reached further than they had imagined, and this was only the beginning. Mara Lynn joined him, her eyes reflecting starlight. "Do you think they'll tell stories about us?" she asked quietly. Reyes nodded. "They will, and in those stories humans will not be just soldiers. We will be symbols, symbols of courage, hope, and heart, symbols that the galaxy cannot ignore." As the shuttle traveled through hyperspace, the humans leaned back, exhausted but triumphant. They had changed history. They had made the name of Earth feared and respected, not through domination, but through strategy, bravery, and the humanity that set them apart. And far across the stars, alien fleets paused. Commanders reconsidered their plans, and whispers filled the void. "Earth, do not provoke them." On a distant moon, a young human soldier looked up at the sky, eyes shining with wonder. "We fight to protect," he said softly, "not to conquer. But if anyone threatens us, they'll learn what Earth means." The galaxy had learned a lesson it would never forget. One planet, small but unyielding, had shown a strength that no alien could ignore. From that day forward, the name Earth was more than a place, it was a legend, a warning, and a symbol of human courage that would echo through the stars forever. And for Captain Elias Reyes and his team, the knowledge settled quietly in their hearts. They had done something greater than victory. They had shown the galaxy that Earth existed not to be taken lightly, and that humanity, no matter how small in numbers, could change the fate of the stars itself. The stars stretched endlessly above them, a silent audience to the birth of a legend. And in that moment, humanity had truly arrived.